Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2 from the IEM Katowice 2021 playoffs. Two players who you would not expect to knock each other out in the round of 12. But fate, and mostly dark, has led us here, beating Serral in the group stages and ruining my introduction. But in the bottom right, the world champion, many considered to be the best player in the whole world, it is, of course, the finisher, Serral. And in the top left, the young Frenchman, making larger and larger splashes throughout the last year, finally finding his footing. Intense micro, intense macro, and precision. It is, of course, Team Liquid's Clem. His Reaper's ridiculously strong, his medevacs uniquely dangerous. The best Beyond cosplayer out there, since Beyond didn't, unfortunately, dropped into a group with Maru and TY and friends. Could not make it through. Oh yeah, you know who else was in that group? Who beat Beyond? Well, I don't want to blame it all on Clem, but he helped. So, Terran versus Zerg. The iconic matchup. It just seems to get better with time as players figure it out. I personally think, and I think many agree, like and subscribe if you agree, of course. We got to get that in early before people fall asleep to my, quote, sultry commentary. But the best matchup at the moment, just in terms of the split of player styles, the back and forth, the give and take. A lot of the there's a wide variety of strategies open. There's plenty of early game opportunities from both sides, though usually they're not favored. Proxies can still be plenty of a thing. It's just relatively rare. And then mid and late game featuring, you could see Hydras, you could see Mutas, maybe Lurkers as well from Zerg, and then Terran. Usually you have your bio, but it could be tanks or Widowmons. It's going to be Hellbats in this case. And mech isn't out of the question either. It's just not favored by such micro-intensive players like Clem. But it looks like we have the... This has kind of been a new development. The Flex Terran builds. I'm starting with Marines, but it's not actually Marines. Just making a seemingly random amount of Marines. And then adding in Hellions or some other variety of tech-oriented unit. So here we're going to have the weirdest Hellbat push I've seen. He just, like, it's 6 Marines and 2 Hellbats. Clem just show it up. Hello! There's no Baneling Nest. 4 Queens coming out. The Hellbat's just body blocking the Guardsmen for the Marines. Like, is this supposed to do damage? I think so. I'm pretty sure. Well, the Marines are not terrible against the Queens. Brenda! Oh! He's getting to the drones. This is the most minimalist push. Zerglings power. More Queens coming down. Did it work? This is another part of TVZ, like, the ambiguity on Serral. He lost a few drones, and he was forced to build Zerglings, which Zerglings, now this is true, are not drones. Every Zergling, or set of Zerglings you build, they come in pairs, as we know. Every set of Zerglings is another drone not built. So now Serral, he has a Baneling Nest done. The attack has been dealt with. He feels obligated. What year is it? We're seeing a Baneling bust? Like, the Hellions are on the other side. Zerglings leading the charge. Third command center not quite done. Clem, the SCV goes to the other side. That third CC finishing is huge. That means Clem's not going to be supply blocked right now. And, of course, his command center... Oh, what? Why is there nothing here? Why is there no wall? Just right in the middle of reinstalling his add-ons. Now was not the time. Or was it? It's unclear. The Hellions come back. Oh, no. A disaster for Clem, I think. The thing is, this isn't doing critical damage yet. You might be like, oh my god, he got him with the Zerglings. He got him with the bait. But look at the supply. Well, actually, no. The supply is really bad. Don't look at that. The drone count. It's 33 to 33, but there are 3 command centers. And 3 command centers, each of those mules worth about 5 SCVs while it's mining. So, with Clem at nearly even workers, he rebuilds the wall. Serral, is he going to go for another round? He's looking to catch the Hellions as they come out, but I think Clem correctly realizing. And this is why much of the time larva-heavy builds like this are not that popular. Oh, I mean, Serral didn't decide like this was his build. He was kind of goaded into it. But I think when the smoke clears and the Zerglings are incinerated and the drones are sent back home despite their aggressive intentions, Clem comes out on top of that. With his production online, with 3 command centers, with 1-1 started. Clem ends up in a better position despite his losses. Oh, but this is what Serral was waiting for with the Zerglings. Somehow the Hellions... Oh, no! He didn't quite get the full wraparound there. If he did and the Hellions go down, I don't even think it's that big a deal, but... Serral looks a little flustered. Like, a Baneling bust, it's not 2012. Alright, believe it or not. I know, it seems like that's like 30 years ago, but... A Baneling bust just is a huge investment. And against a very competent micro player like Clem is unlikely to get a massive return. So now Clem has already another dangerous army out here. He maintained most of the Hellions. Now they're Hellbats. 1-1 not done, but stim and combat shields, and Serral has no Baneling speed. He's got some Queens, but this backbone of Marines should be enough to gun him down. And they just have to fight the army. The knitting crew trying to sew things together. Serral? Clem, oh my god. He loses the Hellbats, and with exactly 16 Marines left, exactly, he picks up and he gets out. Not losing one more Marine than he needs to. Clem is on point precision right now. Target fire, picks up, gets out, 0 losses. Now, well, unless he just... Okay, stop that. Stop proving my point wrong. And he already has an armory, by the way, because of that Hellbat push. Serral's supply block now, scrambling both sides, looking for the wraparound, but Clem picks up and gets out. Another drop, target fire, 1, 2, 3. Oh, he misses a shot, but Serral's Banelings are no match for Clem's Marines. 16 SCVs, though, off-screen, off-camera. Serral came in, Clem finally slipped somewhere. In 16 SCVs, Serral strikes back. For every moment that Clem is staring at his Marines is a moment he might not be looking the other way, and Serral finds out, oh my god, aimbot, turn off his aimbots. He does have aimbot, but only when he's looking at it. Meanwhile, the splits, the stems, Widowmines go down, but the Banelings are precious. And Banelings are gone. 1-1 done for both sides, but Clem continues splitting and stemming, undeterred by his SCV losses. Another round of Baneling. Looking to pick it up. Great splits out of Clem. Only good at the end. I'll revise my statement, but the medevacs keeping the Marines intact. The Queens, no match, gunned down on the edge of the creep. Another, 1, 2 more. He picks up, he drops right back down. Maybe a little preemptive on that. He wasn't sure he was going to get the Baneling, but Brenda Clem looking dominant in game 1. Yeah, there was a little bit of back and forth, give and take, but it was Serral scrambling and Clem just not taking his foot off the gas pedal except to make sure he was safe enough at home. He lost 16 SCVs to Banelings and didn't blink. 1, because he's not Protoss, and 2, because he's a professional. So, Serral, it's weird to say, but Serral has to make sure, like, I think he's got to take a minute. He's got to take a breather, reset, and calm down. Because that felt like an amateur move. Yes, I'm here criticizing Serral. It felt like an amateur move to go for the Baneling bust. It's like well, I hope this Baneling bust works. And Clem's not going to lose 40 SCVs to a Baneling bust unless you somehow kill every one of his units. So... that was rough for Serral. Like, what is that, though? Terran players coming out here saying, like, I can just attack with 2 Hellbats and 6 unupgraded Marines. What the hell is that? What is that? Like,
who does that?
It is kind of the trend. Terran players embracing a little bit of that Protoss mindset of just bringing a slightly different deck to the table with each series, where instead of just going 3cc Hellion Banshee every single game, you kind of mask it with maybe a Marine push, maybe Hellbats. Occasionally, you just go straight up for the Liberators, like, or a Liberator with the Hellions, like. Just mixing it up a little can sometimes return dividends. But like, 6 Marines and 2 Hellbats. Really though. Clem. He knows how to work it. He gets every little ounce of value out of his Marines, and then he pumps it for more. The target fire is immaculate. The multitasking is nearly impeccable, besides occasionally losing all his SCVs to Banelings. The macro is, it never slips. Even when, like, you notice, there's always another wave. That's the sign of the best Terran players. It's not what's happening on the screen, as impressive as it is. It's what is happening back at home. It's the Marines constantly in production, the upgrades on point, the supply depots, and yes, the supply depots. Not only are they on, oh my god, that drone just hanging out. What a move. Clem with his trademark Reapers. But it's not just the supply depots being on time, but in valuable locations. Because so many games, me as a mediocre Terran, and even seeing professionals, sometimes they'll just slap down supply depots and they won't care too much about walling off certain locations or all that. And then a few Zerglings will get in and ruin everything. But the speed and precision is important. 3cc build out of Clem. 3cc before Starport. So this is a more Maru-esque opener. Just maximizing the economy while still having enough tech to potentially defend any early all-ins or keep control of the creep. Both important and laudable goals. Oh, I'm on Team Clem right now, I think. Sorry, Serral. No, I'm a completely unbiased caster, and I'm 100% objective. If you think I'm a totally objective and unbiased and incredible, amazing caster, make sure to smash that like button like Clem smashed Serral in Game 1. Like a god. Brenda. What, Carrot? You could have spread more creep. I've seen more and more players taking the, Now, I don't know how much of this is encouraged by the Reaper and how much is just the decision, but more and more players taking the triangle base. The base that is right outside your main. I think this is to get a 4th and preemptively defend against drops. This is definitely more vulnerable to drops early on, because when you expand to this location, then a drop on the left side can both pressure your 3rd and your main easily, making it very hard to run all your Zerglings, and Banelings, and even Queens around to deal with it. But once you get a 4th base and a high enough unit count, it kind of defends itself, because you're going to have units, you're going to have creep there, if you expand early enough. So, there are pros and cons. Most Zerg players in the past have tended to take the bases that are less vulnerable to multi-drops. But, oh, okay. Brenda. Okay, but the Queens figure out what they're doing, not getting caught for too long between a rock and a hard place. Here comes Clem. Oh my god! He went 3cc with a reactored Hellion. This double drop. So a 2-1-1 timing that be unpopularized years ago. A 2-1-1 timing was about 5 minutes. By the way, 2 medevacs with Stim Marines at 5 minutes. That was impressive. Clem has a 2 medevac timing with 3 CCs at 5:20. So 20 seconds is all it cost him to get a 3rd command center and a couple Hellions on top of this build. Wow. Like, people keep squeezing more and more and more out of the game. It feels like you should be able to mathematically figure out how much you can get, but somehow players are finding more. It wasn't quite 16 Marines. It was like 14, but still, with only 20 extra seconds, getting 3 CCs and like 15 more SCV. I don't even know where he finds the money. Clem is out here with like 14 Marines against several 4 Queens, like 10 Banelings and 30 Zerglings. And he's winning these fights. It's until Baneling speed is done, those Marines are uncontested on the field. A few Banelings on the side, but here comes Clem. Big Clem energy. He's got plenty behind this. He's not cutting into any bit of his macro here, though there is a potential for counterattack. Clem drops a tank in a nasty position behind the rocks. Baneling speed is still 5 seconds out, and those 5 seconds are costing Clem a lot. The splits, the stims from all sides. Clem backing off with the Marines. The medevacs are a little out of position, but the Banelings of Serral go the wrong direction. Some Banelings on the other side get 11 kills on the SCVs. There aren't that many Banelings left for Serral on the other side of the map. Serral was controlling his counterattack, I think. And he ended up guiding all his Banelings into the smallest group of Marines, which usually doesn't matter that much, but against Clem, it does. Meanwhile, though, the Zerglings at the back, but Clem has units to defend, somehow controlling both. We're going to the Clem action cam, alright? Gonna watch both sides of this story. Alright. Clem handling his Marines. The tanks looking... Oh, target firing Baneling! Stimming and well, scanning to see exactly what he's up against. Starting 2-2. More production. The counterattack dealt with. Marines already pre-split, bringing in reinforcements. The hatchery itself. The 4th base is very important for this very larva-heavy style out of Serral. Zerglings and Banelings take about as much larva as anything. More depots, not even supply block, but adding more depots. The splits, the stim. More Banelings. Oh my god, the reaction time. Oh, whoa. Meanwhile, and the Marines hold their... He only lost 4 SCVs. The lift on the CC into the SCV split into the multitasking on the other side. Oh. It's even more disgusting in first person. And he just wins. Wow. He saw the banelings, reacted and minimized damage in half a second while having his marines stepping onto creep against banelings and not only surviving, thriving. We're gonna have to go back to the spawning pool with Serral. 2-0 Clem. And he's making it look... He's not making it look easy. But he is making it look one-sided. So... That did not look easy at all. There's a difference. Like... Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the sign of the best players, is you watch them and it just looks even more difficult. 10 seconds of watching him in first person and I'm already intimidated. I've played this game for 2/3 of Clem's entire life. I'm intimidated. I mean, I'm sure he's played about the same amount, but... Now, it's not like Serral's a washed-up old man himself. Yeah, when I watch Raynor, when I watch Clem, I'm like, they're 18 years old. I started playing Starcraft 2 at 18 years old. To which I say, oh, maybe a little earlier than that. To which I say, oh, god damn it, I'm old. Why couldn't StarCraft 2 come out in 1999? It's like, well, you know, there's another StarCraft.
Fuck this game, man.
Okay, Clem. SCV Scout. I don't know how Serral adjusts. Would you all in him? Like, he kind of tried game one, but that was only at the provocation of Zest. Not Zest. How is Zest getting involved? What's going on? That's a weird one to just have there. It's on my mind, I guess. So. We will see. I'm not honestly sure. That last game was just every phase. I don't know what Serral would do better that isn't an all-in early. Because that was kind of a straight-up match. Oh, come... Oh, what? Observer! Mapu! He didn't want to watch the Reaper die. That's not supposed to happen. Clem's Reapers aren't killed. They're only missing in action. Okay? That Reaper was not killed. It's just, we don't know where it went. It might be back soon. Wow, this is, Ever the Geologist. Serral making sure these rocks are not a pain later on when a tank push hits his third. He did get the creep tumor, but is it worth the Reaper? Maybe? Reapers never die. I mean, isn't the lore like their life expectancy is barely a month? Which is still a lot longer than a StarCraft game, so... Even the worst of the Swarm Host meta only lasted several hours. Yeah, Serral understands the value of stone, alright? When stone mines out, he's not going to be able to build any more castles. Castles very important to put your queens in. Especially on the high ground, so that way they have a good range. Clem's back to the classics. Hellion Banshee. A build straight out of 2010. Oh, wow. No, never mind. All right, he slips out. Doesn't lose any Hellions. He was going for the run by, but backs off at the last second. I wasn't sure if Clem would actually commit to that. And then back into the bio. Oh, Brenda! Is there an overseer? No, because the lair's only halfway done. Cloak is about to be done. Another spore crawler could be nice for Serral here. But this shouldn't do any damage. Serral's at 50 drones. That's a comfortable number. At least at this stage of the game. He's adding more. He should be good to go. He added... So this was the adjustment Serral made as well. He added a baneling nest a little earlier on. Still around when he got his lair, but he wasn't dilly-dallying on it. How did that become a term? What happened? Who's dilly? And why did they dally for so long that it became part of the popular consciousness? We don't know. Or maybe it just rhymed. It's like a 1940s meme. +1, plus... Wait, where are Serral's upgrades? Serral? He's going for Mutas. A Muta risk. He has no Evo chambers at all. He's kind of all-inning on the Mutas. He's adding him now, but his upgrades are going to be a full upgrade, nearly a full upgrade behind. That means the Mutas have to do a lot. And that is the best chance for them to do that much damage is going to be early. Like, you can't... If you wait, every minute, it becomes significantly harder, exponentially harder. Like these Mutas. I don't know if Clem will have a single... Just go after he drops. Get him out! Get the referee! No referees! No rules! No holds! Clem's like, alright. Taking the gloves off. I will no longer try to micro with mittens. I will now show my true power. That's how he trains, obviously. It's like weight training. Clem, 99 pounds, soaking wet, 500 APM, 0 fucks. Why do we measure them soaking wet? 1940s memes again, alright? A Banshee's at home waiting for the counterattacks. I don't think the Banshees are going to be enough to stop this. The Mutas have either been scouted or he smells the Mutas. He definitely does. The fact that the upgrades are not done, the fact that nothing else... Oh, he just saw them. Either way, the fact that a turret is already done drives Serral back. Clem going to be slightly supply blocked for now. Getting the turrets is just a good precautionary measure, especially when you don't see any other tech and haven't done much economic damage. I mean, what else is it going to be? We're going to the Serral action cam. Now, I want you guys to try to see when he injects, alright? I'll do my best to warn you. It's always that's the big challenge. Serral doing some damage on the other side. Whole lot of banelings here. Good split from Clem. Oh, Widow Mines are the worst! Serral Selecto Army hotkey. Or not Army. He has a Selecto Queen's hotkey. He just has it set up throughout the game. One of his quirk. The inject. There you go. Alright. If you missed it, just go back, like, subscribe, and check it again. Injects, hatches, more new hatch, extractors, increased banelings, 1-1 finishing, Adding more. Well, that drone doesn't need to be there. Not worrying about it. Actually, he split the drone off somehow. Meanwhile, Muta's on the way back. We'll stay here for a moment longer. Still under heavy pressure. Double scans as well. After 1-1 finishes, here comes Serral trying to draw that Widow Mine, intimidating. Injects. This is not all of Clem's forces. He has plenty at home, potentially dealing with Muta counterattacks. +2/+2 finishing up for Clem. He's going to lay the pressure on now. Going to his side of the story because it's just so goddamn impressive. Bringing the well, the Banshees have just kind of been standing guard. This is partially Clem shoring up his weaknesses from the other matches. Because what has happened several times in both matches, despite Clem winning, Zergling and Baneling counterattacks have done solid damage at his third. Now Mutas are a little more dangerous, and here are the Banelings again. So Serral bringing more and more in. Clem forced back. The Mutas into the main. Clem off the map entirely. Serral has held the line for long enough to let the Mutas do damage. And the Mutas being in the main, disabling and destroying much of the infrastructure, as well as pulling the army back. Zerglings into the third. Serral strikes back, the Widow Mine killing more SCVs than Zerglings, but eventually helps to thin it out. Meanwhile, out on the map, Serral swarms over anything left. Oh, but the Widow Mine gets a parting shot. I fucking hate Widow Mines. More Marines coming out. +1 mech armor for the wide variety of mech units that have weapons or not. Widow Mines don't have weapons upgrades, but they do have just their innate danger, and armor, of course, helps. More Zerglings coming in. Widow Mine takes a chunk, but that means the Banelings are free to move forward. The Queen's a stopgap. The Muta's looking for an opportunity. Banelings coming through. Clem at 70 SCVs. The orbital's actually burning. Clem retreating. 2-2 about to finish for Serral. That's going to be a trigger point here. When 2-2 is done, I expect Serral to be going shortly after. He's adding more Banelings. The upgrades are 10 seconds out. Muta's on a relatively undefended 4th base. A single turret is no match. 2-2 is done, and immediately Serral pounces on the army at the front. There's more to go, though. Another turret. The Muta's killing SCVs. Reinforcements. Clem not looking for once. The Thor's at the front holding the ground. 20 SCVs go down. The Muta's doing damage. Clem pushing through into the 4th. Serral rolling forward. I don't know how many Widow Mines are left here. It looks like 0, which is not the number he's looking for. The Marines trying to get damage, but the Mutas are ransacking the main simultaneously. 3-3 is on the way for Clem, but it's a long way off, and his SCV count is dipping precipitously. Serral continues to maintain, and now we see a significant income lead. Oh, but Widow Mine's always dangerous. He's trying to target down. There's a second mine. He's going for it. He gets it. No more defenses. Another dozen SCVs down. He's sniping mines. He's pulling Clem off the map. And that is as much a victory as the SCV kills. No more pressure at the front. The creep can be respread. The bases can be resaturated. Serral has 80 drones. He's got a worker lead. He's got even upgrades. He's got a hive on the way. He has control of the map despite Clem's efforts with his medevacs. The Mutas have been running Clem around for quite a while. The Widow Mine's dangerous. He gets a shot off. Marines on the high ground will pull some of Serral's forces back, but more Banelings going into the 3rd. Widow Mine takes a chunk, but SCV is still going to fall. Another base is found. Serral coming back around. Clem forced with ground units to try to chase down ones that fly, which just doesn't go well. Clem uncharacteristically losing some Marines as he's taxed at home and abroad. More Marines coming together. Clem has maintained he has 126 army supply, which Serral cannot match, because he has 83 drones. So do the math on that. I don't care to. Those Mutas all coming back, but that means as soon as the Mutas come back, Clem moves forward. The map is open once again. Widow Mines dunking down into the creep and off it. Marines pre-split. Minimal losses to start as he moves forward. A whole lot of banelings for Serral. He's adding more on. +1 carapace as well. The mutas joining up with the fight. They're looking to get involved. Several Thors helping to zone them out. They don't have weapons upgrade. The mutas actually not joining the fight. They're joining the counterattack, killing more SCVs. Clem still, if he drops under 50, that's not really a sustainable economy. Meanwhile, more Lings and Banes. There's just not that much here. Cutting off some reinforcements. Classic muta moves here from Serral as Clem. He unable to sustain the attack. The reinforcements cut off. The SCV's vulnerable. There's not enough here to defend against Serral. Whittle Mines not getting the damage done. Serral sniping them in time. More Whittle Mines can be targeted. Marines on the way back. Serral has the map. He has the supply lead. And this game is now looking very good for him. The Thor drop. About 2 HP on that Thor. Oh, but still getting some good hits off. Serral striking back. And every time Clem pulls back, that allows Serral to regrow, and vice versa. Muta's back in the main. Clem can never find enough on either side. Lings and Banes will take on the planetary. The SCV is not going to be enough here. Was the Thor repaired? Thankfully it was. The Banelings and Zerglings take down one of Clem's extraneous bases. He's now under that 50 worker mark. Becoming more and more difficult to sustain an economy. He's maxed out on upgrades. He's at 3-3. A medevac just saunters in. Serral maybe could fight, but with 3-3 done for about a minute and a half, Clem now has an advantage. Will he be able to use it is the question. Because once Serral finishes Adrenal Glands, 3-3, maybe even gets some Ultras, he's expanding aggressively forward. You know the best way to make sure your opponent doesn't take a base? Well, here you go. So this is Clem's attack. He's got 125 army supply. Serral knows this is the last chance. This is the last opportunity. Banelings take a chunk out of the front. There's some more Banelings as well. Whittlemine's dunked down. There's precious few scans, as he's needed to drop mules and scan as much as possible. He scans the left side. I don't know. Clem, splitting off some units, realizes mutas are a real and present danger. 20 of them. Serral already waiting for the lifted main base to get to another location. But Clem outflanking the mutas. Not enough, though. Not enough mutas down. He's only killed 13 this game. Serral has been keeping his mutas alive, and they've been paying dividends. No matter how many kills. 17 on the Widow Mine. It needed 50. Which I'm not even sure is possible. The Widow Mine's going forward. Clem slipping. 3-3 about to finish for Serral. He has bases to retreat to. Clem does not. He still has this army, but he can't support it. Here comes Serral again, bit by bit, whittling it down. The medevac's out of energy. 15 more SCVs, and Ultra shows up to the party. More Lings and Banes rolling through. The Marines have next to no HP between them. And there's nothing left. Serral looking a lot more like Serral, though still up against the ropes for a while there. A strong effort out of Clem, but not strong enough. That was a lot closer. Serral choosing Mutus as his Pokemon. This time, instead of trying to match him on the ground, he went around him in the air. So a great game out of Serral. And Clem now, he can bleed. And he did a lot. Game 4. Slow down a bit. Pillars of Gold. That was a great game. I don't think any, like, the best games, the best with no asterisks on them, are when neither player makes mistakes. It's just varying degrees of priorities. Like, I don't think you can point to anything like, that's where Clem screwed it up. And at the same time, like, you can't be like, that's where Serral made the game-winning move. No, it was just a continued struggle back and forth until eventually Serral ground out enough of an advantage. It seems so quaint, building the barracks. No one dying horribly. No dozens of SCVs and hundreds of Zerglings every minute falling. But it won't last. That was the game and the series we expected out of these two. Unfortunately for Serral, he's already given up 2 matches before it seems like he warmed up to the occasion. But I think Serral's on the short list of players who can come back from such deficit. At least consistently. I don't know if Serral is better than Clem now. I mean, this series is going to help decide that. But, like, coming in, I would just consider anyone against Serral the underdog. Maybe Doc. Maybe Dark. Maybe specifically Raynor. Zergs in general. Wait, let's check. No. The stats don't lie. Honestly, I don't think I'd put any Terran or Protoss as favored against Serral in any significant way. That was also, by the way, Clem's first time going for a standard, like a cookie cutter build. It could not have gotten more standard that last game. Like, Reaper into Hellions, into Banshee, into 3CC, into more racks and upgrades. Like, that is... That, like... If you were writing... If you had to write a book on TVZ, and you had to pick one build that was most used over the last 11 years, that's it. That's the one. There's almost no other matchup that has had such consistency. But for 11 years, Terrans have, to at least some extent, used the Hellion Banshee. Even since 2010. Now, this isn't going to be it. Clem dipped his toe back into the standard playbook, and he didn't like how it felt. We're going to mix it up a bit. Now, this is a bit more of a mainstream Hellbat timing. We've got a medevac on the way, a few Marines, some Hellions. But it does hit a little later than that Game 1 build, which means Serral should have some... Well, his Baneling Nest is not done, but it's on the way. Queens are producing. So, I don't think this is deadly, but it is dangerous. Baneling Nest finishing up. Surprised Serral's fighting the Hellbats at all before the Baneling Nest is done. So they attack in a cone. Like one of those you put on dogs so that way they don't ruin any stitches or whatever. That's essentially what Hellbats are. So you got that picture now. That means if the Hellbats are engaging Queens, for example, and you bring the Zerglings around the back, and the Terran doesn't micro, sometimes the Zerglings can actually get real damage on them. But that is assuming, of course, they don't notice. Clem is very likely to notice such things, so those kind of wraparound tactics unlikely to be a huge deal. Baneling's a bit more reliable. And after it, can you believe it? Clem adding on 2 more racks, 2 engineering base, stim pack. What a crazy guy. 4 Hellions into the main. 2 why? Why do people do this? Just leave them as Hellions. Clem! Oh my god, this is... You know what really grinds my gears? When he could have gotten 20 drone kills with Hellions, but then he's just like, and now we go into Hellmatch mode! Like some sort of James Bond villain. What was that? Oh, now that... I get it, I get it. He probably was looking more at the front than at what was happening there. But... We've seen that way too much from Terran players over the years. Hellbat drops or Hellion drops are not nearly as common as they once were. I blame innovation for Heart of the Swarm, but like the drones are right there. Like, kill the drones. A bit of a missed opportunity. Clem. I keep forgetting, like, I'm trying to actually take notes myself. Unfortunately, so far this series, I haven't learned much besides that my micro is terrible and I can't do either of these players' builds. So, that doesn't help much. It's like, just micro your Marines perfectly, or multitask mutas while also defending against a Widowmine Marine push. Against aimbot Marines. Like, oh, okay. I like roaches. I'm big on the roaches and mech. Can we get some mech? No? Okay. I don't. Serral lining up a flank on this. There is no combat shields. 1-1 is 10 seconds out. I don't think Serral's gonna get an opportunity before it. Oh, it's an Octo Racks build! Clem, 3 more racks on top of the 5 he's already got. The full pressure, the Marine Parade begins. Will he actually... He's slapping add-ons on him. Wow. This is the macro. This is the Octo Macro Racks. Now it's just getting... Okay, the title's too long now. How are you going to clickbait with that? Macro-roni, no cheese. Stop. It's time to stop. So the Chew Toy Depot serving its purpose. I guess it was a bit of a cheesy build from Clem, but a scan on the 4th. Serral has 80 drones here, but Clem, it's time to attack. With all his racks online, the add-on Serral has already set up. He's had a flank ready for like a minute and a half now. We'll see when he pulls the trigger on it. More Banelings on the way. There's nothing else to wait for besides the units themselves. Lings and Banes moving forward. Banelings just rolling right into the 3rd. Clem. Oh, watch out. Oh, 22 SCVs. Serral's moving in from both flanks. He's ready. He's lining it up. Oh, no. And here comes Serral, the Zerg from all sides. He crushes the front and melts the SCVs at the back. Clem hit on both flanks. And Serral doesn't even need this 4th. He can keep it. He can hold it. But if it ever becomes untenable, he has another base already up. How are the upgrades? 2-2 on the way. Almost identical timings for both sides. So Clem not going to have a window there either. The creep spread is good. The Ling Bane count is good. The drone count is good. Serral looking good. No mutas this game. Oh, no. Deja vu. Oh. And he burrows some Banes. No, wait. The orbital. The orbital is burning. It is being repaired by one very brave SCV. Serral is just taking meaty chunks out of Clem's economy. And it's becoming almost impossible to actually push through. He has plenty at home as well. With this many hatcheries, he's got a macro hatch. In the main, he realizes larva is a sticking point. He's only 4 seconds behind on the upgrades. The hive is lined up to finish. Serral just continues powering up. Last game was the turning point. Last game, it felt like Serral was finally ready to go. Oh, come on, Serral. And this is why people don't use broad mainings. Even Serral. Serral has said in the past the reason why broad mainlings aren't really used is because it takes too much attention. So we don't get the dramatic explosion, but we do get a crushing victory. And this series has swung entirely in the other direction. Clem's 2 games of dominance have been turned on their head, and Serral brings it to the ace match. And we're back to Serral looking like Serral do. Finding himself in a great position. I don't know. Is it Proxy Rex time? Is it... I don't know where Clem has gone wrong. I think it's a matter of just Serral not taking the damage he doesn't need to take compared to the last games. But going into the ace match, of course, Jimmy says we gotta shout out our sponsors real quick. So thank you guys for watching. Hey everybody, I'm Winter, and have you checked out Angry Coach? Occasionally, we have Angry Coach for the 4 people who still play Starcraft. If you have too much disposable income and not enough disposable brain, then Angry Coach is probably for you. Or you can check it out on YouTube, because it's very long, so just watch the whole thing. And after you like and subscribe to this video, so because then you'll much more likely to get recommended it. So that way you never have to think for yourself, much like most people who send in for Angry Coach. So check that out. Thank you. Good night. Thank you guys for sticking around. Two to 2. Clem versus Serral. 2 games of sharp, solid Terran timings. A back and forth slugfest with Serral coming out on top. And then that last one looked like Serral in Serral form. Clem unable to keep up. A full 5 matches. They haven't been particularly long, but neither have they been short. They've been a comfortable length. So, that is good for everyone involved. What is it this time, Clem? So he had success with kind of the off-tempo timings in the first couple matches, like adding in almost seemingly random amounts of Marines, while focusing more on economy behind, especially game 1. The Hellion Banshee plays are just not getting it done for him. Going for 1 rank to expand again. I mean, I haven't seen a proxy Rex. I've been casting a bit of IEM Katowice. Thank you, ESL, again, for letting us get the opportunity. But I don't think I've seen a single proxy Rex from all the Maru and Clem and be, like, at least in TVZ. Maru proxy Rex, I think, in TVT, but, like, it feels, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't think anyone wants to risk it, is part of it. Yeah, it never feels like the right moment. Clem, like, you don't want to put your, especially if you can compete, if you feel like you can compete in the later game. And Clem, there's no reason Clem can't. We saw game 1 and 2. You don't want to risk it on either getting scouted or just going up against a pool first or something that shuts it down. And then suddenly, if you haven't outright lost the game, you're way behind. Look at Serral. Serral is not risking putting down a creep tumor until Clem's still going to go. Beautiful grenade. Serral brings an extra escort queen to defend his creep tumors, because that's how dangerous Clem's Reapers are. But get off my lawn! So Clem does. Respects Brenda's wishes. Three CC. Back to the macro. The Reaper just, it's still waiting. Like, speed at the earliest is usually 330 to 340. Serral went for a little later gas, so he's gonna have his around 4 minutes, because he wanted to be able to get his third hatchery up pretty quickly, and indeed he did. Oh, Raven out of Clem. Potentially creep control, possibly worker harass. Yeah, don't, no, you're not going in there. Oh my god. Karen, why are we out here? Serral just pushes across the map with 3 queens. The thing is, 3 queens are a deadly army right now. There's like 4 Hellions and a Reaper. The problem is, Hellions technically outrange queens? Well, no. I mean, kind of. It depends. Not enough that it matters. Or at all. It's just they don't take much damage from them. As you can tell, I'm big on the numbers. Lair's on the way, pretty quick. And the Lair, what did he see? What did you see? Cancels. Was there an Overlord killed or something? Oh, the Ovi was killed with the high ground vision of the Raven. That's what happened, I think. And with that, he was able to realize he didn't need any Spore Crawlers. The Spore Crawlers aren't going to do anything against the Raven. Raven, definitely a bit of a wild card here. It can be used for almost anything. It just takes a little bit of extra Whoa, 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 whoa! Whoa! What? Can't. What? You just let him in. Well, the Raven dies, but the Hellions are in the main. Serral only losing 4 drones. I have no idea how that has happened. Like, what? How does Clem not kill 20 drones here? I don't understand. Like, they're right there. How does Serral do it? He let the Hellions in, but instead he killed the Raven, and he killed all of the Hellions, and only lost 5 drones. 1 queen. That... okay. Well, that seems wrong. It just feels like he gets in the head of the units in his base. He's like, no, 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 you don't want to go that way. The Evo chamber, I mean, blocked them off, for one. But also just enough maneuvering that he doesn't, like, send his drones in a line down to his natural. He just sends them off to the side so the queens can body block for him. And it just never, like, Clem just never found an opportunity to actually fire on the drones. Puns entirely intended. So, the thing is, it's not like Clem needed to get damage done there, but it's still incredibly impressive how little he did get done. But look at the worker count. Let me draw your attention down to the workers. 65 to a nice amount of workers for Serral. That actually gives Clem, it should give Clem more income, because mules exist, much to the dismay of Protoss and Zergs everywhere. A solid army moving out. This is prime territory for Clem here. He's going to have combat shields. He's going to have 1-1. He's going to have an upgrade advantage. He's up against mutas. Those Serral mutas, very dangerous. We saw that a couple games ago. There's no turrets here, but he has plenty of units at home. Should not be taking too many SCV losses. Meanwhile, Clem's struggling to actually drop out as he micros against the mutas. Turrets are on the way. Forces the cancel on one base. Serral's up to 81 drones, which seems a little on the greedy side. Is there an armory done? Indeed there is. 2-2 not started for Clem. The muta's driven out. 10 SCVs go down. That's the total casualty count. The muta's trying to come back to deal with this. Some of the Marines still out here. Without Banelings, you're going to actually struggle. And even with Banelings, you're going to struggle against Clem, but... because that's kind of how Clem do. The muta's not finding as much damage as maybe they would have liked. But they did slow Clem down. Is there a macro hatch? There's only 4 hatcheries. That sounds like a lot. But Serral, he's banking a bit of money and he doesn't have much larva. No matter how fast his injects are, there's a mathematical maximum of larva that you can get off of a certain amount of bases. Serral sending out a counterattack on the left side while Clem is hitting the right. His counterattack, well, it's just an attack, I think, is going to be hitting first. Drilling Claws is done. +1/+1. Finishing up for Serral, but Widow Mines. Widow Mines, always dangerous. Zergling counterattack. The planetary. But Serral. I think he saw the planetary there. Still, Clem splitting and stimming. Widow Mines finding opportunities. Not doing too much to start. Serral forces. Oh, no. Serral not paying attention because he's trying to flank the army. Attention split between both sides for both sides. On both sides. For both sides. All sides. Damage done. SCVs killed, but so were a lot of Marines. Clem forced back. And without the mutas here, where's detection? There's no detection. No, don't stand there. Don't stand there. We're not playing Minecraft. Oh, no. At least the Widow Mines didn't hit the Banelings. That could have been a game changer. Clem still maintaining a way higher supply. Serral has not found the space or the gas to start 2-2, which means in about 30 seconds, Clem's units are going to be significantly more cost-effective with a 2-upgrade advantage. The mutas are chasing down on the right, but he's being pressured by another army on the left. Clem coming in again with another force. He doesn't stop. Relentless. Inevitable. There was not enough economic damage done to Clem by the counterattacks by the mutas. He's at 73 SCVs. The income drawing nearly even despite Serral being solidly on 4 bases. Clem is as well. The mutas find their way across the map. They got +1 done. +2 melee weapon starts at the same time as +3 infantry attack for Clem. The Zerglings and Banelings streaming out. Both players nearing 200 supply, but Clem getting there quicker. And with the upgrades, his army supply is higher. His units more effective. Serral's going to need to take bad fights as best he can. He needs to try to catch Clem out of position, which is going to be difficult when he's losing so many Zerglings in so many places so quickly. The infestation pit starts, but Clem, it's trending in his direction. Most of everything that's happened thus far no longer matters, as Clem has his production, he has his economy, and he has the upgrades, and this is just the world that Serral is living in. The question is for how long? Those Zerglings are not even remotely close to enough. I don't know how... They killed like 4 Marines, and he lost 30 Zerglings. A huge counterattack. It needs to kill this planetary. It gets it. Clem loses the base, but Banelings don't come back. 10 SCVs go down with it. A Widow Mine targeted, but not quickly enough. Serral coming in with another round of banelings. 13 SCVs going down, but the army's still standing strong. More banelings on the way. 2-2 upgrade, still a full minute out for Serral. Clem, splitting, stimming. A lot of banelings, but what do you even hit with them? The efficiency is real. The mutas are on their way back. They realize that reinforcements are more than enough to take them out. Serral needs 2-2. And then we have the 3-3 conundrum. He's going to be down in upgrades for the foreseeable future. A hive has not yet begun. Serral trying to put enough banelings on the field. The Widowmine's not finding a target. Clem, the supply is drawing a little more even. And when 2-2 is done, maybe Serral has a shot at breaking this more permanently. The mutas need to get involved. The mutas found their way back around. Without the mutas, Serral does not have the army here to deal with this. Here comes Serral. 2-2, finishing. +2 melee attack, done. +2 carapace, not relevant for this fight. The banelings, drawing the Widowmine shots. Big Widowmine finds a connection. Serral cleans it up. On top of the Thor. Lot of medevacs vulnerable. Is boost on cooldown? It is not. Reinforcing Marines. +3 infantry weapons done. The pressure still being laid on by Clem. He's beaten back, but not beaten down. He has so much production. Like 15-20 supply every 30 seconds of units that start with M. And that's all he needs. He's staying mobile. On the left side, Serral trying to saturate another base. He needs the income, but he's had a little more to a lot more for a lot of this. But Clem, another base landing. There's still Widowmines, almost an afterthought, scattered out there. Serral takes the top right. He's going to give up the bottom left. The mutas looking for an opportunity. The Widowmine not finding a shot. The turret's potentially vulnerable. Looking for the supply depots. Base taken out. Serral keeping Clem off the map, but the upgrade disadvantage. This is a heart of the swarm level problem. We've seen this before. The Zerg player stuck on layer tech, stuck on mutas, lings, and blings. Whereas the Terran player is done with 3-3 and is consistently building a better and stronger army that becomes less and less possible for the Zerg to kill. And right now, another shot, another mine, another muta, another murder. Oh my god, I killed all the legs. Oh no. Oh, every one of these Widowmines, so painful. The entire army comes to deal with it. The Thors are found, but Clem, most of his medevacs, and many there are. Serral's supply blocked as well. He needs one of these bases. He's running out of mining. The trail of deadly breadcrumbs. The Widowmines across the map. The mutas aren't enough. The splash damage of the mines, bringing the mutas within a couple turret shots of death. Clem standing on the doorstep of beating, well, the favorite to win the entire tournament. The pre-split is great. The Widowmines are good. The banelings are gone. And Clem is tearing through the rest. He takes it 3-2. A masterclass. It looked a little rough for a couple games. The Hellions a bit shaky, but the Marines, the Marauders, the Mines, the Medevacs, and yes, we'll give the Thors a little credit as well. But just the macro, micro, and mechanics of Clem, more than enough. He brings his baguette around in a strong swing and beheads Serral in the round of 12. For most players, that would not be a disappointment, but for Serral, it definitely is. Clem moves on. Serral moves out. That was a very Zerg versus Terran series. I hope you enjoy. Good luck. Have fun. Like, subscribe. Check out these videos. Don't let it autoplay the Locos version of the same series. Or maybe do. Good luck. Have fun. I'll see you next time.